Well, hello, hello.
Howdy, howdy, everyone.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to Faith, Love, and Coffee. And here we are. I am on vacation. My lovely sister is, of course, in her home. I'm in vacation over in Bell, Florida, next to Otter Springs. So it is raining. Raining. I
What?
cannot enjoy the springs. It's been downpouring since, I don't know, 9 o'clock this morning.
Oh,
Yeah.
my. Well, it's warm here in Texas, I'll say that. We're supposed to hit a record today, a record high
Oh my gosh.
on
And the
March
pollen now
30th.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
What is going on?
So let's talk about our episode today, which
Yes.
is about career and work anxiety
Mhm.
and financial stress and future worries. But before we get into that, if you have not seen this series, if you haven't been following, I highly suggest going back 3 weeks and starting with episode 1 or 4.1, which is motherhood anxiety and fear of the unknown. And then, Jamie, what was our number 2?
4.2 is relationship and social anxiety with people pleasing and boundaries.
And then we spent an hour on that one, y'all. An hour.
That was
And last week's also, which was, the one right before this one, was body image, self-image, and health anxiety.
Yeah.
Because, we all
I'm surprised we took so long with
that.
those others.
I'm
And
really
not the
surprised
original
too,
or the
but there
first
was
one.
so much to say.
There's a lot
there was
to
so
talk
much to go over, and so much to say about it.
That's
But
true.
today we're hoping to keep it short and sweet, you guys, because we're talking about career and work anxiety, financial stress, and future worries. And although it may not be as big as the other ones, because hey, some of us are stay-at-home moms, but there is stress in that as well. But we may be able to cut this one a little bit shorter and see how that works out for everybody. So, why does this topic matter? Why does this topic matter?
It's huge.
Let's see. So
it's another big one.
And it is. We tie so much of ourselves into our work. So this matters because we silently carry the pressure of succeeding at work and finding purpose in our career and staying financially stable. Yeah, all those are big. They really are, because when you think about it, our career is our home away from home. That is our second, that is the number one thing we do in our lives. Some of us say, oh, my kids, but we go to work because of our kids, our spouses, our life revolves around our work. Also think, and that goes into the second one, which is anxiety around money and future security. It affects our mental health, our relationships, our peace of mind. And then today's conversation is about naming these fears and taking practical steps, and surrendering them to God, because when we do surrender to God, everything seems to fall in place.
Right.
Because whenever you hold on so tightly, we seem to lose control. But when you surrender and you let God take the wheel, everything just seems to fall in place. And maybe not in your timing, but His timing. But I promise you, the surrendering is real. It really is.
And freeing.
Yes. Amen. Hey, that is a great one right there. It really is. All right. So let's delve into this. Let's talk about career and work anxiety. So, Jim, you want to say, what common career and work-related anxieties are?
So,
talk about
those for sure. So for some, not everyone, but for some, it's the fear of failure or not being good enough. Some other ones are the stress from balancing career, home, and personal life. Other people worry about job security, promotions, or even feeling stuck. And then, like for some of us, especially those of us older, the fear of, did we make the right career choice or pursuing something later in life that we are passionate about? So all of those kind of, someone feels one or two of those things, if not all.
Right.
Um, and so as a teacher, I'm going to tell you, most of us struggle with those things. Um, I don't know about stay-at-home moms or anything. All I can tell you is, like, from the teacher side, we question ourselves almost every day. Was that good enough today? Was that, what mistakes did I make? How can I change tomorrow? Um, and then feeling stuck. Like, am I going to be a fourth grade teacher forever? Yes. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe so. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what you're supposed to be doing. Um, and so balancing being a teacher and home life, a lot of teachers go home tired, and can't give as much energy to their own kids and family because they've given 7 hours to other
Yeah.
people's kids. It's
True.
hard. Um, and then you do question at the end of the day, did I make the right career choice? Like, am I supposed to be doing this? That's just me from a teacher perspective.
But I
Uh,
can imagine that's even more for you though, because not only do you have like those kinds of anxieties, but you kind of worry about like when parents come in and like, why did my kid do this? Or why did you give my kid this? Or why did, they get this grade in your class? And, or
yeah.
what are you doing about it? Or any,
Mhm.
all those stress related issues
Yeah.
that will question yourself, like you were saying, am I good enough to actually do this job?
Yeah.
What can I do better? Just like you said at the end of the day. But I can't imagine that it must not just be at the end of the day, but a constant worry throughout the day.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure you're getting messages and emails and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, from parents coming in all the time. And then you got your
Yeah.
administrator going, okay, what's happening here and what's happening there,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
And then, of course, we all know that there's counselors and social workers at schools and, all that kind of stuff. So dealing with all that,
It
I
can be
mean,
quite overwhelming.
yeah.
It can be quite
I mean, for
overwhelming.
you, and
Yeah.
then like there's another thing that we didn't touch base on, but like that imposter syndrome.
Mhm.
Like, like say for instance, maybe you padded your resume a little and then you're actually at the job and you're like, what did I do?
Yeah.
What did I do? Can I
Yeah.
really get through this? I mean, I know talked myself up and here I am at the job now and oh my gosh, can I really do this? Or you're very confident and you can do this job and that it's the right thing for you to do, and then all of a sudden you're just like, wait a minute, am I the right person for this job?
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
second guessing themselves,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
I
all of
I
these
tell
things
people
come in.
I tell people this about teaching, and this is just me. I can't speak for anybody else. I could have 20 great students who I know love me, love my class, love my,
Mhm.
you get one that doesn't, and you can feel that and you know that, and they've proven that to you because they're like disrespectful, they do things. It really does affect all those other 20 that you know are
Mm.
great, but it does hit you like, man, I know 20 kids like would go to the ends of the earth, but this one, what's going on? And that's when you start like, what's going on? How can I catch this one and make them, whatever. Um,
Right.
and so there's a lot, and you're right. Like, you do question, am I qualified for this? Like,
Mhm.
what is happening?
Yeah,
So yeah.
exactly. I can't imagine, being on that end. Like, I'm very comfortable in my position because I'm a recruiter. So, and I'm very confident. But now, when I first started, I wasn't that confident because I had no clue about recruiting. Okay, other than like maybe being an office manager um and just interviewing people. But recruiting is so much more than just that.
Yeah.
And when I first started, it was, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? And
I'm sure it
then,
was
but then
overwhelming.
here it is 3.5 years later, and I'm very confident in what I do, and bringing in new skills and new perspectives into the job and everything else like that. That's
Yeah.
great. But you also wonder because, there are layoffs, there are certain things that like business needs change and people are let go. And that
Mhm.
happens everywhere, not, just in my company, but that's been happening everywhere and everywhere lately.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's where some of this anxiety comes in too, because you're always afraid, oh my God, am I going to be with the ones cut?
Mhm.
You know,
Even
am I going to be
teachers.
right? Right.
Even teachers, we're always like, "Oh, our jobs are secure, like, we're the ones who, like, blah, blah." No. School
Yeah, even
districts
though
here in
we keep on,
Texas.
yeah, even though we keep on hearing that they need teachers, right?
Yes, yeah.
Right. So,
So it's
it's a
an
catch
anxiety
22.
for
It just
teachers
seems like,
too. Yeah, yeah.
yes, I can
It's a
imagine
stress
that.
for teachers.
I imagine that. So,
Ha, there we go. Not so much of a glare.
but like we were talking about before, okay, so we just covered like some of the common career work related anxieties. And
Mhm.
so the root of work anxiety is like
Yeah.
tying your identity and worth to your career.
Mhm.
All right. Or comparing your career path to others, or pressure to provide, perform, and prove yourself. Now,
Yeah.
this one, the last one, the pressure to provide, perform, and prove yourself, you guys, I'm living that right now. And right before we got on this call, my beloved sister called my husband into our little space before we come on live with you guys, because I had told her that on this vacation I brought my work phone with me. And I did not bring my computer, but I brought my work phone with me because
So that's
I
progress.
started making excuses that, we all, like, everyone on my team has 50 stores and we have to recruit for 50 stores. And I did not want to leave them like having to, or burden them with the work that I left behind. So I worked until 8:30 on Friday, which put me at over 12 and a half hours of work for the day. So, and so my husband was upset about that. My sister was upset about that. And then now I brought my phone with me because I'm like, okay, at least I can delegate if I need to, something comes through or something like that. And they're both telling me, listen, work will be there when you get back from vacation, blah, blah, blah. And you know what, guys? They're so right, because I preach this whole thing to the people that I work with, because they're like, oh, I don't want to take my phone out. I'm like, no. And I put my foot down. I'm like, listen, you are supposed to take vacation. That is what PTO is for. You do not take your phone. You do not take your computer. You do not take anything. And here I am with my phone. So I am not following my own advice. And for the sake of sanity, please leave your phones at home.
But that is progress. I will say it's progress because y'all, we went on vacation another time, quick trip. We had gone down to mom's like for like 3
Mhm.
days, maybe. It was quick. It wasn't in the summer, this past summer, but a quick like
Yeah.
whatever. And you had your computer, you had your phone, you were on PTO. And I was like,
Mhm.
"What are you doing?" So at least now you left one device at home. Right? And you have so it's progress, right? So it's progress over perfection is what they say. So, like,
Right.
I'll give you some credit for just bringing the phone.
You're right. But that is so true, you guys, because whenever you tell your managers, or supervisors, or whoever that you report to, that you're going on vacation, the one thing that they should be doing with you is collaborating with you, what's left behind, what needs to get done. And, when you're out, them checking your emails and, delegating that stuff out to your coworkers who can help until you get back. Or if it's something that can wait until you get back, that's even better,
Yeah.
but PTO is meant for PTO, and you should not have any stress about taking what is rightfully and legally yours to take.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay. So
Absolutely.
don't let anybody pressure you and tell you, oh, well, you're just not a team player because you're not doing this, or, well, I haven't taken vacation in 2 years, or whatever. That's them. Okay.
Yep.
You're
Good
entitled
for
to
you.
have a lovely, stress-free time to yourself. And if anybody asks you, oh, where you're going, what are you going to do? What are you, blah, blah, it's none of their business.
Oh, yeah.
They don't need to know where you're going. They don't need to know how they can get in touch with you. They don't need to know any of that. Okay. So, honestly, for your sanity, for your family and you to connect and be there for each other. And even because, we're visiting friends as well, for y'all to have a good time together, leave it.
Yeah.
Leave it.
Take that time.
I love doing this. We were going to record this earlier this week because Jamie was going to go on vacation on a cruise, and she opted out of that, but she's taking her vacation this week. So, we were going to record it earlier, but here we are live with you. But the reason why I wanted to do this is because I love doing this. This is my passion right here.
Yeah.
Is talking
This isn't
to
work.
Yes. And it doesn't have to do with work. But we're talking about work. But but it's kind of a thing. It's kind of like a guilt feeling too, though. And I know it's hard. It's so hard to leave that feeling behind when you're like, oh, man, I wonder if this is getting done. I wonder if this is getting done. I wonder if this is getting done. You can't be free of it, really. I mean, I'm just one of those people that are like, okay, I wonder if this is getting done at work. Do I need to check in or anything else like that? And to be honest with you, when I told my managers I will be checking on my email, I said, but I will not have my laptop. If it's something that can wait until I get back, it's going to wait. But if it's something I have to delegate out, I'll go ahead and delegate out or let my manager know, and they'll delegate it out for me. But I let them know what was happening. But not one single person said, you better leave that phone at home.
Yeah.
Listen.
Because they're hoping you do that.
Exactly. Sometimes you just have to. Yes, I did bring my phone, and that's not that. Shame on me. But I'm telling you guys.
Well, hopefully they won't need you for anything, and it's just you have it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll just have it, and then that's just it. But y'all don't. I mean, again, it is rightfully and legally yours to take. So please, please, please take the time to decompress.
Yes.
So that way, when you go back, you will be refreshed and renewed and be able to do your job the way you did, or even better, because you will be.
So
you would have that relief.
This is something I just want to share. It's like a faith-based, I guess, perspective.
Okay. Yeah.
That was kind of presented.
Okay.
And it says that rest is holy, and God calls us to rest. Like, not exhaust ourselves so much over work, because of course it's going to be there. And not only that, but God rested.
Amen. Okay.
Like,
he did all this one day.
Yeah. He did all this stuff in 6 days and rested on the 7th day. So, like, gotta rest. Gotta rest.
Yes. Absolutely.
I mean, there are other faith-based perspectives too, right? But
of course.
Just thought that's a very interesting one, right? Because, like I said, God calls us to rest. So
that is very true. Which is a good way and to like go ahead and leave that subject behind and move forward with the financial stress and future worry.
Yeah.
Which is the other topic.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's a heavy one. And when I say heavy, it's just because of like the financial part. Because you questioning your career choices and all that, like not you, people. I think it's normal. But I think a lot of people really, really fear financial pressures and have that major anxiety.
And especially with the way that inflation has been this last few years, guys. I mean, we went from having eggs that cost maybe $1.79 a dozen to now they're what, $5 a dozen. I mean, whoever would ever thought that we would ever be here, or that gas, like in California, could be $5 to $7 a gallon, a gallon. Where they're saying that the minimum, the wage should be $15 an hour. And I know for a fact in some states, like in Georgia, they're still like $7.50. So, I mean, some of us are just so far behind, but yet the cost of housing goes up. The cost of gas goes up. The cost of food has gone up and everything else. But we're still sitting at these wages that no one can live on. Or this is why a lot of families are moving in with family to make up for the cost or to help pay their mortgages.
Yeah.
Because it's just too much for people to be out on their own.
Yes.
I mean, it really is. And
Mhm.
so, we all struggle with that. And I've actually, I told my sister at one point in time, I was like, Jamie, I said, maybe if we move to Texas, we can all get a house together and y'all, we'll take these bedrooms and we'll
Split
take this
cost.
bedroom and then split the
Mhm.
cost because it is just like ridiculous. And of course, the ideal thing would to be alone with your family so you could, have, your family and everything else. But back in the day, back in the way day, way day,
Yes,
families did live with families. And
they
families,
did.
because it did help. Like whenever you hear that comment, it takes a community to raise a kid. That's exactly what they were talking about. Because
Mhm.
they did live in that community and they lived with, like I remember even as a child, we had that happening
Mhm.
with my grandma. And then like my uncle would live next door and I have an aunt who lived like the street over or
Oh,
then
yeah.
my dad lived like maybe just a couple of miles away and we're all in that community.
Mhm.
So if there's somebody needed like, hey, can you take care of Pat or can you take care of Mark or Max or Joe or whoever,
Yeah,
then they'll be like, yeah, bring them
somebody was
over.
there.
We got our kids here today, they can all play together, that
Yeah,
kind of thing. And that was something that we really didn't think about much when we were growing up. But now it's just like one of those things, like we have to go back. It's almost like going back to your roots and going to go do that, to
yeah,
live in a space of community. So, but it's not because your kids are having to help raise your kids, but because it's financial stress.
it is.
And it
It is.
is.
Yeah. I told it's funny
Yes.
you say that because I was talking to mom yesterday and I told her, I said, I don't remember being this anxious 20 years ago. And that put me at like 27-ish. And so
Because
at that point,
it kind of made it like what you were working for was what the economy was at.
yes, yes,
In
I
other
could
words, everything was
manage.
it was affordable. It
Yes,
wasn't
that's
something
the
that you were
correct word.
struggling to get,
Right.
it
That's the
was
correct word.
affordable and something that you
Affordable.
could actually, okay, I can pay my mortgage, I can pay my car payment, and I can pay my groceries and I have a little left over to have fun and a little left over to save.
Yes.
But
Yes.
now it's like, okay, do I have enough to have a Snickers bar?
Yeah. No, you're
Or,
correct.
or can I buy that pair of shoes that I really need because this one has holes in it? I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean, this is
everything you just said about 20 years ago is true.
yes.
Like, I
Well, I remember
didn't.
because remember we used to live in an apartment together. So my sister and I shared an apartment, woof, eons ago. It seems
Yes.
like. And it's almost like every pay period, she would go buy a pair of shoes, a pair of
Yes.
tennies, of Nikes, or
Mhm.
whatever the new thing that came out.
Not a
But
sponsor.
we were also financially um at a place where we could do that,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
felt okay to do it.
Yeah. I mean, we could have lived in 2 one-bedrooms, but
Yes.
it only saved us, like, maybe, what, 2 or $300 to do
Mhm.
a two-bedroom,
Yeah.
and that was it. But
And that
otherwise,
two-bedroom, looking back at it now, was so inexpensive. I
it really
literally
was.
I remember writing you checks for, like, my half of the rent. Some of them didn't always clear like they should have, but she was very gracious to, like, but my half, I think, was, like, 450, maybe $500 half,
Mhm.
and it was a nice spacious
It was
two-bedroom,
a
2
nice
bath.
spacious
Yeah,
it was
and I
like,
mean,
I don't know, about what, 1,300 square feet for a
it was
two-bedroom, and
nice.
they were
It
like,
was nice.
for roommates, they were split, and then the kitchen and everything was in the center,
Yes.
which, of course, there's apartments like that too, but, I mean, when you're looking at a two-bedroom apartment that's gonna cost you $1,900 to $2,400, and there are
Yes.
houses out there that you can get for the same thing, but that depends on the house where you at, because sometimes they have, like, a two-bedroom, like, single wide, uh what do you call it? Help me out here. Single wide
Like, trailer?
trailer home for
Yeah,
$2,400 that
yeah,
may have a window broken or something like that. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that, come on,
yeah,
it didn't cost $2,400 or it's not $2,400 a month for you to have that.
yeah,
Now, and
and
at
I
this
think
point, I'm not
that's
sure if it's just the economy or if it's just straight out greed. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
I know.
I mean, I feel like it's like a little bit of both, right? Like,
I
you
know, because
know?
I've seen, like, so we're in the market to rent again, because like my husband doesn't want to buy. Like, I think I've mentioned this before. He doesn't want to buy because we can get up and go anywhere, even though we've been in the same house for 10 years.
Yeah.
So, but when you go and look at the market and you're looking at these places to rent, and you see where the rent is now $2,600, but 5 years ago it was 2,000. You're like, where did that climb up to another $650
Yeah.
in the last 4 years?
Mhm.
I mean, did the mortgage change? Did they have what kind of mortgage? But then you would have to think they might not have a fixed mortgage. They may have something that, rises and falls with the market. They may,
True.
you just never know. But
Yeah.
still, that's a hike,
A
y'all.
lot of money.
That is a hike.
A
So, and then
lot.
for something that was built in like 2000 or 2005, now you can get the same thing now, like for a brand new home that maybe was built in 2000 or 2020, and then you could just $200 more and you got a brand new 3 or 4 bedroom home with, whatever. But
But
I
that's
just
the
think that,
thing. The
yeah,
pricing of houses, even if
has
you
also
don't
gone
rent.
up
Oh, yeah.
significantly.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
'Cause
significantly. Just
even
the
a
price.
1,300 square foot house here in, like, my area of Texas between Dallas and Fort Worth is on the market for 295 or $300,000.
That's
And
nothing
yeah.
compared to what the houses are now. When you look at, like, just like she had said, like now that's like 295,000. Like 3 4 years ago, they were building houses here in Georgia, in Cumming, Georgia, or around the area, and those houses were being built for 400,000, whereas 2 years before they were being built for 200,000.
Mhm.
But here it is 4 years later, and now it's 800,000 to $1 million.
Mhm.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
No,
And
it's
they say,
crazy.
"Oh, lumber and everything." I'm sorry. I thought that was taken care of like 3 years ago. Now we have an abundance of lumber. So what's the excuse now? So, I mean,
I
it
don't
is just
even know.
crazy. Most of us cannot afford this.
No.
And this is seriously, guys, this is a subject that I'm really passionate about, because it is just, I don't know whether, again, it is because of, I know that inflation has gone up, and I know that everything's gone up, everything's gone up, but some of this is just downright greed.
Yeah.
And I mean, how do you get around that? How do you think of that? How do you you know, what, you have to make 3 times the rent now,
Mhm.
which puts you up to like between, I don't know, 85,000 to 100,000 or even more to rent a
Mhm.
house.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is, can you imagine somebody single out there? I mean, even the 1 bedroom apartments are really expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're like, I think, what we saw some for like, the least expensive one
1,200.
we saw, like where you were, like a 1,200, and then you still needed to make 3 times the rent for that. And
Mhm.
y'all, if y'all are making $15 an hour to $20 an hour, I feel your pain. That
Yeah.
you're not, yeah, I
It's
don't
not working.
know.
Yeah.
And that
And
means
so
you have to
then
live with somebody else, or
yeah. And then that
exactly.
means what's left for, like, food, transportation, everything else, like, there's so much more to it than
And
just
variables.
housing.
Oh my God. And then
Yeah.
the stress of the financial burden also. Like, let's say for instance, you have someone who passed away in your family, and they didn't have insurance because they were so young that that wasn't even in the future to even look at the moment. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden they're gone, and now they need help with, like, with burial cost, or whatever that they need. And then you're like, oh my God, I want to find a way to help, or I want to find a way to, do this for them, or, you know, um, or like all of a sudden your mom fell down, broke her hip or something like that, and she doesn't have the financial means to get it. And then that lies on you, or
Mhm.
you trying to help find, a way to help. And
Yeah.
I mean, all of the stress of the financial need, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that just, it's very, Gosh, don't you wish we were back in the days when we just barter for stuff?
Yeah. It's definitely high
I
anxiety when it
mean,
comes to that. I think more
and
people worry about that than a lot of other things going on. They kind of put the
they
other stuff to the side.
and they really do, but, when you talk about some people also who are well off or and then the stock market crashes or something like that, and some people have even ended their lives because of that.
Oh, yeah.
Not worth it. Not worth it. Honest, you
Yeah.
guys, your lives are worth more than money, okay?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like, I mean, you know,
That's how
and
bad
it's
it's
like, I
gotten for
can't handle
people.
it. Yeah, it really
Yeah.
has.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. And everybody has financial burden of some sort, right? So let's see. So we have
God, it's tough.
here where the common financial and future related fear of not having enough money for bills, savings, retirement. We just went over that.
Mhm.
Stress about debt, unexpected expenses, or living paycheck to paycheck. Now, listen, you guys, that's one too, living paycheck to paycheck. And I think I think about 85% of us all live paycheck to paycheck,
Yeah. I would
honestly.
I would
It's
I like
hard to
that number.
believe. I know. I don't think
I
a lot
agree.
of us put a lot of us can't put into savings because of how much inflation has gone up, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So,
Agree.
and some of the companies that we work for, or some of the companies that we were hoping to work for, don't offer the kind of financial security that we need for us to even put something aside for our future when we
Yeah.
retire or whatever. And then that's even a thing we could even talk about too, Social Security. But listen, that could be another
Yeah.
that
A
could be
whole
another segment of another time.
Yeah.
So we do worry about economy, inflation, job loss, and then we're constantly thinking about what if. And again, I think we've even touched on this subject before on another anxiety episode about what if, but we cannot live on what if. We have to live for
True.
today and hopefully if God gives us tomorrow. Okay.
Yes.
Um,
Agreed.
but let's talk about some of these things that are faith based perspectives on this.
Yes.
Um, so I think that you really don't need to worry. I mean, you're going to be worried. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But
Yeah.
we could try and give this to God because He
Mhm.
promises to meet your needs and not your wants. Okay, it's not like we're talking about necessity financial need, not
Yes.
I want a yacht in the next 2 years.
Yes. Yes.
We're talking
No,
about your
agree.
needs that need to be met. And
Yeah.
and honestly, Matt, my husband has lost his job and he's the financial security in our home. And I, of course, offer mine with my job and everything else like that. But he said, "Oh my God, how are we going to do this?" And we've prayed about it. We've praised God, even though he lost his job. We praise Him because we know that if something like this happens, it happens for a reason, and something better comes along. And in our 11th hour, he got a an offer for a better position.
Mhm.
So if you just give it to him, just give it to God. And I know sometimes people are like, how do you do that? Just surrender, just like we were talking about earlier today.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
That's the
and
one
then
of all those
yeah.
faith-based perspectives, that's the one I found to be so, like,
Mhm.
powerful.
And it is. Um and then but I think this one's good too. You practice gratitude, y'all.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
like Jamie has a gratitude journal she jots down every day. I do not have a gratitude journal, and that's only because and I don't know if Jamie does this or not, but I get into the Word of God every day, and I just do some of the plans that are the Bible app, and I read and I pray on that, and I'm always wake up in the morning with a praise of gratitude because I know that if it wasn't for God, I would not have another breath in my body.
Mhm.
So and that'll be the way it is until I go home to Him.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
actually had to order another because
did you really?
almost done filling mine up.
Oh
Um,
wow!
but I agree with what you said. So, since going to church, I think I mentioned it last, podcast or the one before, somebody said, before you get up to look at your phone, just kind of lay there and, uh, show gratitude for like 5 things. And the
Mhm.
first one for us is always like, "Thank you for waking me up." And then the rest, like, falls into place. And then like
Right.
you, I have the Bible app that kind of in the morning says, like, "Here's the prayer for today. Do that."
Uh-huh.
And then this journal, y'all, on Amazon, not a sponsor, is like 5 minutes. It does
Mhm.
not take long. It is literally a quote I'm grateful for, my self-care intention for today. The second one kind of changes. And then
Mhm.
daily affirmation, and then you come back in the afternoon and write what you
Yeah.
like learn. And it's funny you say that because yesterday or the day before, I just kind of like opened it and I'm like, how did I feel on July 10th, 2020? You know what I mean? And I look and
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, so it's helped me to kind of get out of my head on some things.
Yeah.
Um, and so I I hope everybody can at least do something, if it's not the gratitude journal, Bible
Oh, yeah.
app, like you spend time in the word, like just kind of like let those stresses and anxiety free for a little while. It's not going to be all
Yeah.
day, but like for a little while.
Exactly. And it's just like, you have the gratitude log and, whatever floats your boat. If you guys have
True.
something that helps you with gratitude, or even like a budget planner or anything else like that that you can share, that way other people can do that. I have a budget planner. I didn't bring it with me, of course, but I have a budget planner, and I also
Oh, you
have,
should-
um, I have just a regular planner also, for my days and everything else like that.
Yeah.
But whatever it is that would help you, get to that next step. We also have like some prompts, like journaling
Mm,
prompts, if you'd like. We could drop those in anytime you guys want. Just please, just let us know what you would like, and we have those ready to go for you guys.
mhm.
So, I want to give, I went ahead and saved two Bible verses for reference for both the career and work anxiety and the financial stress and future worries. I'll take the
Okay.
career and work anxiety, and Jamie, you can take the financial stress and work, the future worries. But
Okay.
for the Bible verse for the career, the two Bible verses I have for the career and work anxiety, the first one is Colossians 3:23, which states as whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as if working for the Lord and not for human masters. Because I
Got it.
promise you, so you keep your hands busy, but they're for the Lord, and you pray over your hands or pray just over your work. You would be amazed that after you've done that for a minute, how much smoother things seem to be. And then the other one is Proverbs 16:3, which is commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. That, my friends, is so true because, we can say, what if, or I plan on doing this, this, and this, but God may have a different plan for you.
Mhm.
So he will establish those plans, and that as long as you commit to him, he will do that for you.
Oh, I think that came up twice. Let me take. I was putting them in the comments too. So then for financial stress and future worries is Matthew 6:31 through 33. Do not worry, saying, "What shall we eat or what shall we wear?" But seek first his kingdom. That's true. Do
Mhm.
not worry. And then Proverbs 3, oh, 5, 6. This is, oh my gosh, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Um,
Mhm.
that one is one of my favorites. My student who passed away from cancer, Eric, that was his favorite
Aw.
Bible verse. And I'll never forget because he would always tell me, just trust in the Lord with all your heart, because he would ask me questions and I'd be like, "I have no idea, Eric. Let me Google it. Let me look it up." And he was like, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart." And then he's like, "Lean not on your own understanding." And I would tell him, "I don't have any understanding because I don't even know what you're asking me." So I love that. I love that. And it's true. We just have to let it go. Leave it to
Yes,
God.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we I guess we did it. We did it within 45 minutes, which is absolutely
Yay.
amazing. Yay! So again, if you have not looked at the series at all, I do encourage you to go back and listen. Even if you just skip around, tell us your thoughts, please. Engage with us. We're here for you. We want to build this community. Next week, we're going to be a little short because we're going to revamp a few things for you guys and see how everybody responds. And we really want this to work out and work for everyone, especially, again, this is such a passion of mine. And I want to see ourselves like really being successful at this and being able to bring you more value. So, and things that we can work on together as friends and, part of this community. So for now, keep faith, spread love, and savor every sip of life. Until the next time, take care and keep brewing positivity. Have a great day, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
I know that's